Welcome back once again. Today we're going to attempt to make some gumbo. And I say attempt because just minutes ago we had a real disaster. My light stand fell over. I rushed over to the air fryer to pull something out, hit the cord, the soft box wound up in all this stuff. That's why we've got a little bit of thyme mixed in with the flour, but we're going to leave it. We're all friends, so we don't need to be too neat. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, I've laid out all the ingredients here. To start, the main thing right here, we've got some okra from the garden. That's actually the reason I make gumbo, because I'm not a fan of okra straight up. So in a recipe, it's fantastic. We've got some red beans, also some black beans. I mixed them together because I didn't quite have 3 cups of beans. Over here, add some green peppers, some mushrooms, some carrots cut into rounds, 1 large onion diced up, 6 whole cloves of garlic, again chopped up into pretty small pieces. This one's an important one, and this one you want to be careful with. This is an adobo chili right here. Very hot, but that gives it a lot of flavor. Without this, you don't have gumbo. It's 1 adobo chili and 1 tablespoon of the juice from inside the jar. Some diced roasted tomatoes. The original recipe called for some tomato puree, but I think diced tomatoes would be a little bit better in there. Some vegetable stock, 2 cups. And then we've got our spices here. Got a little bit of tamari, 2 tablespoons. I have a tablespoon of thyme. A tablespoon here of Cajun seasoning. This is my own blackening season. And we have 2 tablespoons of flour. Now, if you want it to be gluten-free, this is white flour. I couldn't find my brown rice flour, but the original recipe called for brown rice flour, and it's gluten-free. So we're going with that, but that's easy to swap out. Oh, and lastly, I have a few soy curls that I prepared. These you hydrate them. I put them into the air fryer. They're a little bit overcooked. I'm still going to put them in. I think they'll rehydrate with the rest of the recipe, but it is what it is. This kind of replaces meat or chicken, and it's a healthier alternative to something like vegan sausage or seitan. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with the flour. First thing we're going to do is just brown this up a little bit to take the rawness away. So head over here to the stove. And we got our stainless steel pan. And we're just gonna sprinkle that inside the pan. Now what we want to do is we want to just cook it a bit. And once that's brown, we're going to take it out and reserve it for later, but this way we don't have to dirty another pan. We'll do it right in the pan that we're cooking the gumbo in. All right, the flour is starting to cook. It's starting to get a little bit of a brown color to it. You don't want to burn it. So the flour is browned up. We're going to take that flour, reserve that for later. Alright, put that right in there. Oops. See how the flour got a little bit brown? It might be overexposed by the light. Now we're going to go back to the stove. And we're going to throw in the onions. The carrots. Actually going to put a little bit of oil in the pan. Just let them brown a little bit. You can do this on fairly high heat. We're going to cook them later with the vegetable stock, but we just want them to get a little bit brown. After those have a little bit of a start, I'm going to throw the garlic in. That's 6 cloves of garlic. This part here makes the whole house smell good, especially on a rainy, windy day. I don't know why they say this weather's for the birds, because even the birds don't like this kind of weather. They like it when it's still out. Alright, now we're starting to get a little bit of browning on the bottom of the pan. So what we're going to do is take some of this vegetable stock and we're going to deglaze the pan, just about 1/4 cup of it. And just kind of stir that around, get those brown bits off the bottom of the pan. Those are flavor right there. I'm modifying the recipe I wrote as I go along because I prefer to do it this way rather than just put the stock right in. Alright, so while that's cooking away, we're going to get our next ingredients ready. And next thing that's going to go in here is going to be the mushrooms and the peppers, and also the canned tomatoes. Okay, the onions are nice and soft, and almost all the liquid's gone from here. So we're going to add in our green bell peppers and mushrooms. Stir that through. And then we're going to add in a whole can of diced fire roasted tomatoes. These are good stuff here. Stir that through. And now I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I'm going to let that cook for about 5 minutes. While this is cooking, we can also add in our tamari, our thyme, and our Cajun spices. Let's put those in there too. And we'll also add in our adobo chili. Again, if you don't like things too hot, be very careful with this ingredient because this puts the fire in the dish. Stir all that up. Let that cook a little longer. I have these jalapenos on the side in case it's not hot enough. I might chop these up and put them in there, but they just were on the counter and I thought they looked nice. This has been cooking about 5 minutes here. So we're going to add in our okra and our beans. We put this in later because we don't want to overcook it, and the beans are canned, so they're already cooked. Look at that. Garden okra, yummy. Stir that in. And we'll put in our our bean medley. Now we'll stir in the flour. The flour that we browned up earlier, that's going to go in. It's going to broadcast it over the top of the mixture. Get it to coat everything. I do this before I put the liquid in because if you throw it in with the other liquid, it tends to clump up. But doing it this way, you get a nice, sticky, thick gumbo here. And then you can add the rest of your stock to it. So now we're going to put in the stock. Now I don't always use all of it. Put in all but a little bit. Oh yeah, that's perfect. And actually, that's plenty thick, so we're going to put the rest in. That's really all there is to it. Most of the work was actually cutting everything up and putting it in. I'm going to put this in too. A little add in. Since it's dry, usually I put this in the last minute, but since I dried it out a little bit too much in the air fryer, I think we're going to put it in now. Lisa will be happy when she gets home. So we'll turn the heat down. And I'm just going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. Let the flavors meld, let it cook. Sometimes it's actually better the next day. But that's pretty much it for gumbo. And there you have it. Delicious, vegan, gluten-free gumbo. Let's give it a taste. It is good. And the soy curls worked out too. They're very, very chicken-like in there. Absolutely delicious. And the okra is cooked just right. I like it a little bit. I wouldn't say on the firm side, but I don't like when it's just mush and falls into it. That's why we put it in later. Yep. That's a 10 out of 10. All right. Till next time. Bye. Okay, so we had a little bit of a disaster. I smelled the soy curls. Smell like they're starting to burn in here. Yeah, they're getting a little too overdone. So I quickly came in to grab them. When I was coming in, I caught the cord for the light. The light fell. I just cleaned it up as best I could. It survived. Landed here on the counter. Light went into all the spices. So everything's all mixed up. Gonna clean up a bit and reset the set. That shows you don't ever rush around. I got a stronger light stand now. Before I had a very lightweight, easily movable one, which was okay for the light. But put this on it and put it all the way up there, and you got problems.